Greetings from School of Health Sciences. Myself, Dr. Rita Devi, Program Coordinator. Welcome all the regional directors and staff of regional centers, program in charges, academic counselors, and our students who have been enrolled for Certificate in Community Health. I welcome all of you for this session. Before we start the discussion on BNS 041, that is Theory Course 1, Block 1, and today we are going to cover Unit 4, that is Introduction to Epidemiology, Epidemiological Processes, and Approaches. I welcome Mrs. Urmil Bhardwaj, Principal, College of Nursing, Rufeda College, Jamia Hamdard University, to discuss the topic with us. We need to study to enhance our public health skills, public health concepts. This is the most important unit for all of you because epidemiology not only helps in the understanding of the health concepts and the disease causation, but also helps in planning, implementation, and evaluating the health services. To discuss the concept of epidemiology, I would like Madam Urmil Bhardwaj to just give the concept of epidemiology.
Thank you, Dr. Rita. The epidemiology is very important as it discusses about the disease condition, the problems, and how it is being spread in the community, what causes it, and what we can do to prevent these diseases and ultimately to promote health and have a good well-being. So that is why epidemiology is important, to know the problem and to find a solution to the problem. Yeah. So it has been defined by many people. Initially it was the study of mass phenomenon, but later many things had been added, and it says that it is a distribution, determinants, evaluation, control, and finally evaluate the programs which we have launched. So it is in totality stating that what are the problems and how to solve those problems. That is the epidemiological concept.
When we are in the population like this, our target group will be dealing with the 5,000 population in their working area. So they might come across many questions like why oral cancer is more common among men than women, or Japanese encephalitis is occurring in the eastern UP than any other part of India. Trachoma is found more in the western part of India, that is Punjab or Rajasthan, not in other parts. So these kind of questions arise out of the population, and there are certain factors responsible for the variation in the occurrence of the disease. So these variations are in terms of person, place, and time. So who all are affected, where the problem has occurred, and at what time the problem has occurred. These are the various questions which should come in your mind when you are working in the community.
So when initially you are there, you will be wondering why this disease occur, who are suffering, where is it occurring, who was the first case who had the disease, and how many people are suffering from the disease. So as a community health worker, you have to know all those aspects. When you know this aspect in terms of time, means at what time of the year did it occur, who were the people, urban, rural, male, female, school children, at various age-specific people, and which place had it occur.
Yes.
Had it occur in your locality, or it had occurred in your state, in your district, in the nation as a whole. So where it had occurred. So there are 6, 7 guards, I would say, to look for the epidemiology: who, where, when, what, and how.
Yes.
These are some guards to tell you how to control the disease. So these are most important guards they have to know. And time, place, and person is very important to know the disease aspect. And then, depending on that, you can have your control program.
So to find out the answer of all these problems, we have to apply scientific approaches. Scientific approaches, or we say epidemiological approaches, or the methods to identify or do the assessment of these problems in the community, as well as decide or plan the methods to prevent and control these diseases. So, if we see the meaning of epidemiology, it is derived from a Greek word that means epi, that means among, demo means people, and logos means study. So, we study the population, or we derive the data or the problems from the population by using epidemiological method, and that determine the meaning of epidemiology also. Now, definition madam has already given, but there are more definitions given by another, as madam was rightly telling that previously it was a mass phenomenon, but later on there is improvement in the definition of epidemiology. Like epidemiology is defined as the study of the distribution of the disease or a condition in the population, and of the factors that influence the distribution. So that is how, suppose we take for example a low lying village near the river Brahmaputra gets inundated by floods every year, or you might have seen nowadays Kerala is under flood during monsoon season. A large number of people are affected with the problems like diarrhea, much more than the usual frequency of its occurrence among the people during the season of the year. So in this example, if we see that who is affected and which is the problem, so in this case diarrhea is the problem near the village, and the time is the monsoon season, and place of occurrence is the village. That is how we conclude that how the problem has started. And there are various factors responsible to cause diarrhea, that is the contaminated water consumed by the people during the floods. So these factors are responsible for diarrhea to happen, which determines that there is a problem related to the water contamination. So when we are discussing all these questions, what is the use of describing a disease in terms of the distribution by place, person, and time? Why do we need to describe them? Is it merely for the discussion of the healthcare providers, or is it related to the action for control and preventing the disease? The ultimate aim of studying a disease lies in the control and prevention. Why we are doing all these questions and determinants, we are asking so many things about the disease, because we have to plan a program or plan out how to how to bring about control of this problem in that particular community, and we can save the community and bring it to the healthy human beings.
Along with this, we should not only think that it pertains to the communicable disease, even non-communicable diseases which are on a rise in nowadays scenario, we also see what are the etiological factors. Like somebody smokes, will he get lung cancer? And how much is the extent that this person can get? So we can also calculate if a person is smoking, what is his chance of getting lung cancer. So in other words, we can say that with the help of epidemiology, you can find out the etiological factors for a particular disease.
At the same time, the distribution and the frequency of the disease, we have to find out magnitude of health problem to identify the factors which contribute that related health problem, because the magnitude will decide whether the problem is more or less in that particular community, as well as it also helps in comparing whether the problem is more in this particular community than the other. So this is the reason, and the magnitude of health problem is calculated in the form of prevalence rate or attack rate or proportion as such. So, and these measurements helps in the comparison of the health problem between different populations, and whether it is more in male or in female, or whether it is more in the urban area or in the rural area. So measuring the frequency of the health problem in the same population over a period of time can give picture about the changing trend of the occurrence of the health problem, whether problem is on the rise or whether problem is improving or decreasing. This is important from the point of assessing the effectiveness of efforts in trying to control or prevent the health problem by the government as well as the local health agency. What are the aims of studying the epidemiology?
So far, we had been discussing that in and out, but we can, in a nutshell, say that aims of epidemiology are to describe the distribution and magnitude. Magnitude means what is the extent of a problem and how is it distributed. It is in terms of time, place, and person, we already said, and what are the other problems of human population. We can study that. I already mentioned that etiological factor. What are the causes of this particular disease? So you can identify the etiological factor, or in another word, risk factors for a particular disease. You can also provide essential data for planning. If we know what is the extent of a problem, who is suffering, which area is more getting the disease, so you can have essential data available with you to plan the health services, and you can also plan for your prevention and control and treatment of that particular disease. And at the nutshell, I said at the end, we must say that at the end we are wanting to improve the health of the people and well-being of populations at large.
Now we come to the uses of epidemiology, how these epidemiological approaches we can utilize to find out the problems in the community. Like epidemiology is the basis for improving the public health status globally, and it has got many uses, like to study the natural history of disease. As you must have studied natural history of the disease, which has got two phases, that is pre-pathogenesis and pathogenesis. Why do we say pre-pathogenesis? When the individual is healthy, he is not diseased, agent, host and environment are in balance with each other, so the person is not having any symptoms or disease. So that is the pre-pathogenesis phase, and pathogenesis in which the clinical symptoms occur and the person goes into illness. So, and how the epidemiology helps in identifying natural history of the disease, because it helps in studying the rise and fall of the disease or the changes in their characters, how the disease healthy person has met the agent and got infected, and how he is determining or producing sign and symptoms. So the everything from the healthy stage till the disease state, the person can be studied using the epidemiological method in the population. Like health is not a static thing, it keeps on changing from one aspect to the other aspect. Sometimes it is one person is healthy and on other time it can be diseased. And the same way the diseases, some of the diseases are gradually reducing and some are new emerging. So all these things in the complete form can be studied using the survey as one of the method to identify the natural history of the disease. And same way the control measures can also be planned. So this is the one of the use of studying epidemiology, to study the natural history of disease.
Another thing we can add into this, that in the natural history of a disease, when we are in pre-pathogenesis phase, you can find out and you can do some intervention and save the time in total recovery of the patient. So we can intervene in pre-pathogenesis even before that, like we are giving vaccination. So we know that this area is more prone to get a particular disease, you can vaccinate. So we can intervene at each stage of a disease condition.
Yes. So in pre-pathogenesis, as Madam has said, we apply the health promotion aspect, which covers the specific protection also. using vaccinations, because we have to prevent the child from occurrence of any disease, and the various aspect of clinical manifestation we apply certain other methods. So other use of epidemiology is to make a community diagnosis.
If we are going in a community, we must assess, we must find out what are their needs and what intervention we have to do. For example, you are going in a community where non-communicable diseases are much more than communicable. So we have to assess their need, what they need. We cannot plan unless we know the need of the community. Because if the planning is done from the topmost level without knowing the need, it will not be accepted. So community need assessment has to be done, and that can also be done along with doing the epidemiological findings.
Right.
And we can find out what are their need and what intervention at what time we have to give them. So that need assessment can be done, as well as whether people will accept us or not. That is also a part of it. So what is their need, what is their felt need, and what are the actual need by the health personnel. That can be found out, and we can diagnose the community. Okay, this community has these problems. If they have this kind of a problem, suppose many of the people are having respiratory problems, we can diagnose okay, there is some factory, there is pollution and things like that. So that community diagnosis can be done using the epidemiological instruments.
Yes, and same way intervention programs can also be
launched.
planned as per the need of the community. We are strengthening again and again, because here large number of population is involved, having many cases of a particular disease in the community, and we have to plan the intervention in such a way that all of them get benefit of the planning which has been done for them. So the other aspect of epidemiology use is to assess the risk factors of the disease. When we are identifying community need, that time also we can identify the risk factors prevalent in that particular community. Whether, suppose, for example, in case of hypertension, there are various risk factors. You must be aware beforehand. Your knowledge should be perfect before you go to the community, because then only you will be able to identify these risk factors. Like for non-communicable diseases, suppose hypertension, you are assessing risk factors, then you must know what all are the risk factors to lead to hypertension. Like people are consuming high fat diet, consuming high salt diet, or they are living sedentary lifestyle, person is obese, obesity is one of the risk factor. So all these risk factors you have to identify, and using epidemiological methods, like you can do the epidemiological approach such as health risk assessment, or in NCD clinic, non-communicable diseases, you have to assess their BMI so that you can identify that person is in the normal weight or overweight. Then health screening can be done for some of the diseases, like you check their blood pressure, or you monitor blood glucose level and identify whether person is a pre-diabetic or in the diabetic. And medical examination is also one of the thing which is done in the community. Disease assessment can be done using a rapid survey approach, so that you identify each and every risk factor and plan accordingly. So this is also one of the use. Another use is to assess and evaluate and conduct research. This is the wide variety area to conduct research on the health program. Ma'am, would you like to explain?
Well, if something new disease condition had come, or some new problem has come, so we can always have a research and find out. Many rare syndromes are there for which we don't know the clinical manifestations properly. You can do the health research and find out what are the clinical manifestations. Especially the rare diseases which are not found, you can, through the epidemiological approach, you can find out, and you can complete the gaps where the clinical findings are not very clear. So you can identify the syndromes, you can do the research, you can also find out how much our population is more at risk for particular disease, and we calculate it by relative risk, the association of risk with the causative factors, that is known as relative risk, association with odds ratio. we can attributable risk, so we can always calculate what is my, even as a person I can calculate what is my risk of getting a particular disease. So in a whole community you can find out how many people are prone to get this particular disease, and we can do more of health research. We can also find out that what programs are launched.
Yes.
Is it fine or there is some lacuna, and if there is any lacuna, what are those? So that we can find out with doing a health research.
Another use of epidemiology is to complete the clinical picture. This means when a person comes in the hospital, he comes with some clinical symptoms, and their doctor is available to assess those clinical symptoms. But that is not the complete picture of the starting the disease as well as till the prognosis or the recovery of the patient. The patient is available during certain times of the illness. But when using epidemiological method, you can complete the clinical picture, saying that how the disease has started in the community and how it has gone up to sign and symptoms, and whether the patient is recovering or not. So these things can be completely studied in the community. So we can say that epidemiological methods helps in complete the clinical picture of a particular disease. We can give one example, like usually minor or atypical ischemic heart disease does not report to the physician in the health center or in the hospital, because before he is brought to the hospital, he is already, he died with cardiac arrest also. So the missing information on such sudden deaths cases leads to incomplete clinical picture about the ischemic heart disease. However, in clinical epidemiological methods can help in understanding the clinical picture. Prognosis also helps in modifying the treatment. If the one treatment is not suitable, other treatment can be given. The natural history of the disease will be more complete if the information is obtained from all the cases using standardized criteria for diagnosis in the community. So we can say that epidemiological method help in completing the clinical picture of a particular disease. Another important use of epidemiology is to identify the syndromes.
Yeah, I did already mention that earlier. There are few diseases which are very rare, and some diseases are there which are syndrome, means there is multiple of sign and symptoms present. You may not have this particular disease, ischemic heart disease, these are the sign and symptom. They may have presentation of many sign and symptoms. So such kind of syndromes can be studied with the epidemiological studies for a longer period of a time. And not only that, many diseases with the time change, with lifestyle change, the clinical picture is also changed. So during the given time frame, there can be changes in clinical manifestations. So that can be also studied with epidemiological study. With case control studies, maybe you will come across that, or cohort study. There are studies, experimental study, descriptive study, analytical, and case control. All those kind of study, you can find out the syndrome. You can identify that this is also a sign and symptom, and you can find out those there in clinical setting, which sometimes is not possible, most of the time not possible in the hospital setting, since the patient is there for a short period of a time. So if there is a prolonged entity, you have to read it for a longer time, you have to study them for a longer time, then you can do that in a community. So that can be completed. The syndromes identification can be done with the epidemiological study, applying any of those methods which is suitable to that particular condition.
Thank you, madam, for explaining till now we have covered epidemiology, meaning, definition, as well as the various aims and uses of epidemiology, and the concept of epidemiology, which has been again and again explained, that we have to identify the occurrence of disease in the community, its distribution in the community, and who all are affected. There are in terms of place, person, and time, as well as we have to find out the ways for the prevention and control of these diseases using various epidemiological approaches. Thank you, madam, for discussion on the topic, and thank you, everyone.